Ladies and gentlemen, we got the one and only Kid Capri.
Capri.
Kid.
Good morning.
Yo, Kid, how you doing? First and foremost, congratulations. Last night was epic. The Verzuz last night was epic. I couldn't wait to hear your voice when you finally got on stage. And then you start talking to the crowd, and I felt like that was the part, man. When I first moved to New York, I moved to New York to feel the official New York City party. I'm taking you back to the S&S Club. You know, I'm taking you back to 52 Beats. I'm taking you way back to those old school mixtapes. I always wanted to feel that, Kid, and that's why I moved to New York. And I promise you, last night when you hit that stage, I think the entire world, man, I was talking to people who were in Africa, and they were all huddled around their screen just to watch what was taking place. And they said, I feel like watching Kid Capri that now I really experience hip hop culture in its rawest form. And I was in New York in the 80s, the 90s, and the new millennium when they heard your voice, Kid. Congratulations on that. How did that make you feel, brother?
Absolutely incredible, man. Absolutely incredible. I always set out to try to make people happy with this, man. Whenever I do what I do, it's never about me. It's always bigger than me. It's always about trying to make people feel better than they did before they see me. You know what I'm saying? And every time I get on the stage or any situation I'm in, that's how I carry it. I always treat myself as if I was looking at everything as the fan. If I was the one that bought the ticket, how I would want to feel if I was watching myself on stage. What will make me want to come back as me as a promoter? What will make me want to hire me again? And that's what makes me do good, because I try to live up to the expectation.
Live up to the expectation. You set the standard, man. What are you talking about, Kid Capri? You set the standard. When did KRS-One officially ask you to be his DJ?
I'm gonna be honest with you. Kane was the first one to ask me, right? And I turned it down. Then KRS asked me, and I turned it down. I didn't want to be. I like watching the Verzuz, and if I was going to do it, I would want to do it for both of them. I want to do it for both of them, just to be neutral. Even though we both have history with both of them, I did a lot more shows with KRS-One, and he's my daughter Vina Love's godfather. So it's just a different history. But I told both of them no at first, and then Chris called me and said, yo, man, it's a celebration, man. You know, he got scratched. I was like, damn. So I called Kane back and told him, I was like, you know, if I get your blessings, I'll do it with Chris. He was like, of course, I want you to do it. Please go do it. Just do it. You know, so we ended up putting it together, and it ended up happening. But I wasn't going to do it because of that. I didn't want the attention. I don't know. I just
want the attention? What? What does that mean? Kid Capri don't want the attention, Heather. What does that mean?
I was asked 4 different times to do Verzuz, and I turned it down each time. So
wow,
I don't know. It's a beautiful platform. It's the platform of now. It's the biggest platform right now. But sometimes taking things when it's the right time is the best thing. Sometimes you just can't take things because the opportunity is there. Strategically moving, you know, when you do things strategically, it works out longer. Sometimes people want the right now satisfaction, and it be here today and gone tomorrow, and it doesn't resonate with the people for a long term. And when I try to do things that's going to stick, that people's going to remember. You know, we're in a time where everything is so accessible. Everybody has a platform. Everybody has words to say. So you can get caught up in being lost in things if it doesn't stick the way it's supposed to. So I try to do that.
Did you and Chris, KRS-One from Boogie Down Productions, arguably the most ferocious MC to ever pick up a mic, did you honestly sit down and try to create a strategy to destroy Big Daddy Kane? What was the goal? Because that don't even seem feasible. What did y'all say?
No, it wasn't that. Listen, whenever me and Chris get together, Chris' attitude is one thing. He don't care about nobody when it comes to that mic. He could be friends with you. Y'all could be. It don't matter when it comes to hip hop. He feels he's the greatest in the world when it comes to MCing. I watched this dude do. We did so many monumental things, man. When the thing happened with PM Dawn, I was standing right there when it happened.
Okay, Chris, we got to tell the story. KRS-One ran up on stage when the group PM Don was performing, and threw the lead rapper off stage. May he rest in peace. Right?
He rest Prince
Yeah.
B, great dude.
I mean,
great
not
dude.
because he was thrown off the stage. He passed on years later, but may he rest in peace.
Okay.
But at the time, you know, hip hop was competitive, and if you said certain things, you know, somebody gonna see you. And I remember being in Sound Factory in the club. And I'm standing right in front of the pole, in front of the stage, and I see Chris walk in with a bunch of dudes that I knew, but a bunch of dudes I didn't know, and a dude that I knew was a karate dude that he don't never be around until somebody called him for beef. So I walk over there and say, yo, what's going on? Because nothing. I went to Willie D, God bless his soul. What y'all doing? He said, I'm gonna hit. What's his name? I said, yo, I don't get Chris in no trouble. He said, no, I'm gonna do it. I was like, all right, man. Just be cool. So I walked back to the pole. When I got back to the pole, Prince B and them got on stage and did their first song. And then the second song came up. And that's when Chris and them went up there and, you know, snatched the mic and grabbed him, threw him off the stage and started off. And it was Super Cat's show. When Chris got off stage, the whole crowd left with him. And Super Cat was standing on stage by himself. The crowd was walking down the street, like it was a video behind Chris. But that's not to downplay PM Dawn or anybody else, but it's a part of history. It's a part of Chris's history of what happened. Also, when Nelson Mandela came out of jail, me and Chris, we did Chris and myself, we did Yankee Stadium for him when he came out to celebrate Yankee Stadium. That was amazing. Like, it was so many different things that we did together that people don't even know about. That was just really big, really big.
Kid Capri is here, man. He got new music coming out. He got a new album coming out. He got a new single.
Last night.
Slap Key? Was Slap Key?
Last night, 12 o'clock, yeah.
The new video came out, man. We had a conversation before the Verzuz, because I've heard the album. I've been to Kid Capri's house, HB and Tracy. I don't know if that's a stunt or not, but I've been to his house. Kid Capri offered me food, y'all. I made it. But we were talking about it. And one of the things I just wanted to make sure that you promote that you had this coming out, man. I want people to know who you are. You know what I mean? I want people to know. I remember Chance the Rapper won the mixtape category for coloring book at the Grammys. And I remember Chance shouted out DJ Drama, you know, for being one of the first, right? And I was so happy that a mixtape won a Grammy. Like, y'all got to understand, that's something we created in this culture. No one else did that. We needed a mixtape in order to get exposure, in order to get representation. Right. The mixtape was created as an alternative way for us to do what it is we're doing. And so when a governing body like the Grammys acknowledge it, it solidifies it. No offense to Chance the Rapper, but he said something that was slightly inaccurate when he said, I want to give it up to DJ Drama for being the first. Yeah. First in mixtape. And it's just a learnable moment. You know what I mean? To most people, Kid Capri is the first to go worldwide. To Kid Capri, who's the first to put out mixtapes?
The first to put out mixtapes, you got to give Hollywood and Brucey B and Star Child and Love Buzz Starsky their due, because they were doing it a long time in New York. When I came about, when me and Star Child came about, when I met Star Child and we started playing together, my whole thing was always seeing things for the future, seeing things bigger. And I didn't want to come in sounding like anybody else. I wanted to have my own lane and be able to be separate from everybody else. So when I came in, I had a different kind of style. I had more of a aggressive, I can't really explain it, but it was more of a different kind of style that caught on to people around the world, to where they was able, I would come to their city, do a show or do 2 or 3 shows at that city. And that main DJ in that city that maybe not he doesn't talk on the microphone, he doesn't play records quick, he's not really that skillful. He knows how to keep the crowd going, but he doesn't really know how to, you know, rock it out like that. He'll see me come in the city, and when I come back, he'll sound like me when I come back. He'll be talking like me. But see, that's an influence. That's an inspiration. And that's dope. The problem with that is when I'm doing my show and you want to come and sound like me in my show. That's when it's a problem.
Oh, no.
It ain't a problem that you is inspired and influenced. That's dope. That's dope for me. But when I'm in my show, I want to do me. I don't want you to do me. You know what I'm saying? So that's where it becomes. And a lot of times, things look cute to a lot of people. Everybody wants to be a part of things, but it's not for everybody. You know what I'm saying? And, you just got to know what's the right thing to do when you're in these situations. If you're at a club, don't play the best record in the world at 10:30 at night. Yeah. Don't try to outdo the principal, because that'll eliminate you from getting any more work. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I would get a young dude, tell him exactly what I want him to do. He'll yes me to death. I walk in the club at 10:30 or whatever. He's doing exactly the opposite. I tell somebody else to do what I asked him to do, and he do it. Next thing you know, I got them going around the country doing different shows.
Wow.
Because it's a matter of, it's a job. It's a job, and you have to take it serious. And now it's bigger than you. It's not about you.
Okay. I'm gonna ask one more and then let y'all jump in, because watching the show last night, what I appreciated about the Verzuz is the elements that were being represented. I didn't know if it was maybe graph writers in the back or something, but the B-boys that came out, the B-boy, B-girl community that came out, I thought that was dope. And then seeing Crazy Legs and all those other, B-boy Tata, all these different people come out. That I felt like we don't talk about those aspects of the culture when we say hip hop. We just talk about playlists and who's charting. And so it's great to see that. It's great to see the MCs doing real MC, master of ceremonies. Like Chris didn't do one song the way he did it on record. He had crowd control. You have people coming in. Then the flip side of that, you have Big Daddy Kane doing every song the way it sounds on record, showing you, breath control, the whole nine. I just thought it was such a skill display of what we do. What was happening when DJ Scratch felt like he was trying to bring you into a battle? Was that planned? Was that a bombardment? was that an ambush? What was that?
Yeah, the truth is, me and Scratch been friends a long time, right? And this last year, we didn't see eye to eye on some things, all right? And when Kane called me, he told me, he was like, there you go, we all boys, I said, all right, Kane, and I'm off with it. I'm done with it, So that's the energy I came with. No malice in my heart. Everything is good. Hug him up. Everything. I guess he wanted to take the opportunity in front of the world to try to show me up in some kind of way. They call me the world's greatest DJ. A lot of DJs don't like that. They feel like, world's greatest DJ. I didn't give myself that name. The world gave me that name because of my accomplishments and what I've done and what I continue to do. You're mad at that. That's your business. And I'm not saying that's a scratchy situation, but I've caught flack like this for years. This is not a new thing. I've caught flack like this for years when I put records out. Certain people wouldn't play it, and they didn't want me to get no further than what I've been, which is cool, and I understand that. I don't understand it because I don't think like that, but some people like that. And sometimes, I think yesterday's opportunity for Scratch was, let me show the world that, if I do him dirty, I'll be the man. You know what I'm saying? When you do that, you set yourself up for failure, because I'm not going to lose. I'm not going to lose. I'm not going to look bad in front of nobody. I'm never going to do the wrong thing. I'm always going to be on point. I'm always going to be sharp. And the day I can't do it, you'll never see me do it again. So when you put yourself in that situation, you leaving everybody with an opinion to have an opinion about what you're doing. Now you got to deal with that. And what he did last night, I just didn't think it was cool. And I told him, I thought it was some, it wasn't cool. It was some sucker shit. You know what I'm saying? But it was a battle. He could have got caught up in the moment. When I first came out, did my first show, I tore that place down so bad. He had to look at that. He had to see that. And he probably stood on stage thinking about that. And, now he felt like, I got to redeem myself or do what I got to do. All right, cool. But I'm not going to entertain that. You know what I'm saying? Because it just wasn't professional. I thought it wasn't cool.
So that wasn't planned. That wasn't a part of the wasn't on the.
Nothing about it. Nothing about that.
Okay.
And,
Okay.
And me and Kane called me in the room, and he apologized for it.
Uh-huh. All right. I mean, it's hip hop too at the same time. That's what happens.
That's why I'm not mad. I'm not mad, but you got to deal with what comes with that, and that's the fact. You got to deal with the comments. You got to deal with all that, and I don't want that for Scratch, because Scratch is an icon. Scratch is one of the greatest DJs there is out, as far as being masterful. Like
hands down. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And but sometimes in that setting, you can get caught up in a situation and make the wrong decision and the wrong choice. And that's what happened last night.
All right, Kid Capri, man, fresh off the Verzuz, new project, the new video Slap Key is out right now. Tracy, go ahead, talk to the icon.
Yo, I would love to talk to the icon. Y'all can hear me cool?
Yes.
I can't see you.
I'm here, Capri. Listen,
good.
I feel like in present day, the Bronx doesn't get as much love as the other boroughs. And it's so ironic because the Bronx is the birthplace of hip hop. You're obviously from the Bronx as well. Do you agree with that? Do you know the different factors that go into that and why a lot of times when people speak about New York hip hop, so much love goes over to Brooklyn?
Well, first of all, it started in the Bronx. It wasn't going to just stay in the Bronx, right? It became big, it became worldwide. So, of course, when they talk about Brooklyn, when they say Brooklyn as if it was the birthplace or whatever the case may be, whatever the situation is, you got to think of who came out of Brooklyn. Biggie, Jay-Z, like, some big dudes came out of Brooklyn. In the Bronx, a few big dudes came out of there too. KRS-One, Big Pun. Hip hop started in the Bronx. But again, we didn't have a large range of artists that from the Bronx that sold a lot of records, that kept themselves relevant, that, stayed in tune with things. Now you see with the internet out, you're seeing the different Bronx artists and, icons and legends that wasn't being heard, wasn't being talked about, wasn't making the bread that the ones that came later were making. Now you get a chance to see them on their platforms now. But for a lot of times, a lot of them dudes didn't know where we're going to eat. You know what I'm saying? And I always felt some way about that. My heroes are them. The ones that didn't make the money and the ones that didn't get the respect that they're supposed to get. These are guys that built the ground up. And later on, the dudes that somebody could come in that's not as skillful, may have a little bit of tech savvy, and be a rich guy and really not talented in what he does. But this guy over here that really bust his ass and did what he had to do for the culture, he's not making the money. He's not, nobody calls him or asks him to do shows or nobody shouts him and they forget him. But it's really up to you to make sure that you let people know who you are. It's up to you to represent yourself. Nobody's going to promote you the way you're going to promote you. You just got to know how to do it, and don't get there. My thing is, it's always good to come from the old school and know the old school stuff, but don't get stuck in the old school way of thinking. Understand things are going to change whether you like it or don't like it. And you can't be mad at the change that's going to come in because it's going to come. And, sometimes you need to embrace these things just so that you can learn from it. You may not do it, but you learn from it and you know what not to disrespect because everybody have their way of looking at things. So with that being said, that's part of the reason why the Bronx don't get mentioned too, because a lot of the young people feel like the older people don't care about what they do. You know what I'm saying? So they're so detached from what they do. It's like they less than, and it's not the truth because stuff that came out back in the days and, in our era, we didn't like everything that came out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So.
All right. Kid Capri is here. Hey, Rich Nice, go for it, man.
Oh, yeah. First, let me say, man, salute Kid Capri on that set last night, man. Let me give you some flowers, brother. You are hip-hop national treasure because, when I was watching it on the screen, I turned my TV up so loud, I felt like I was in the building. What was the energy like in the building? Because you made the Barclays feel like the Garden. It was crazy.
It was bananas in there. I was looking around, man. I was seeing, it's amazing to you got to keep in mind, man, you're one person that got to satisfy a whole room full of people that you don't even know all at the same time. All these different people got different attitudes, different ways of looking at things. And you got to tap into everybody at the same time, at one time. That's a pressure. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's not for everybody. You know what I'm saying? You get on stage and the crowd don't move, it's because it's not for everybody. You have to understand that fan want to feel a certain way. So me looking at that last night, and anytime I do an arena, makes me proud to know that, people even care. People even, they rolled me all these years and and it just stays. And it never changes, and I'm blessed with that. I'm very blessed for that.
Well, had you not put out a slew of iconic mixtapes Had you not handed Jay-Z and other artists records that define their careers, have you not got on that mic and really revolutionized the way the game is being represented, we might not be sitting here today, Kid Capri. So you did that. That's why we care, man. To help defining what this culture is. And for that, I want to say salute to you, brother. We got to talk some more. You know, some other stuff I want to ask you.
Yes,
but I know you're doing your rounds today. And we got Jamie Foxx about to sit down with us. But this new project, Slap Key, is the name of the single. Tell us about it.
Slap Key, yeah, it's the first song I did when I decided to do this album. It was the first song I wrote. And the reason why I did this album was a couple of reasons. One was I seen Little Pump disrespect Eminem on the radio. I mean, on the net. You know, Eminem, you old, nobody listen to your music. He did that, and I felt a way about that. So I replied back to him about it. And, you know, I told him, I was like, you know, no matter how many, you would never be able to stand next to a legend like an Eminem or myself with your 1 or 2 records. It won't work. You won't be able to stand that pressure. And you should want to be able to get to an age like myself or Eminem, because of the rate that y'all going, y'all ain't gonna make it. You know, and I went into that type of, you know, father-son type of talk on him.
Yeah.
And, you know, that was one thing. And the second thing was, you know, I seen a lot of DJs on the net when the quarantine hit. And they were, you know, it's one thing when people want to pay you money because you're working, you know, you're burning electricity, you know, yeah, they should take care of you. You know, that's the right thing to do. But it's the wrong thing to do when you turn around to your phone every 5 seconds or every 5 minutes or every 2 minutes or whatever the number is and tell people, yo, I want to see who can send me $25 to my Cash App in the next minute. I want to see who can send me $100 on my Cash App. It just made the business that took care of me all my life. It just made it look trashy and cheap. It made it look like, it was just the DJ, it was just certain DJs that was doing it. And there was nobody else in any kind of business doing it but them. So it made it look like we was thirsty, like we was doing bad. It didn't look right to me. So I made my statement about it, and I stood on my statement about it, and I felt the way I felt, and I still feel the way I feel. So that was one thing. And then another thing was there was a lot of older dudes in hip hop that's kind of scared to put their music out because they don't know what's going to happen with the younger DJs on the radio and stuff like that. And my thing is, man, do what you want to do. You got a platform, your music is good, that's it. You know, it's going to speak for itself, and you know, you don't have to worry about who's going to validate you. You know, if something's good, they're going to come and get it. So those were the 3 things. So I sat there and I wrote Slap Key in the basement. And from that day, it was like God put a glove on my shoulder and just said, keep going, just go. And I finished 3 albums.
Damn.
I got 3. I got the top 10 album that I done first, and then I did this album. Now I'm maybe 92% done with the story one I just did. So I'm way ahead of myself, but my pen game got so crazy. It's like, to tell you the truth, I'm bugging myself. I always wrote and had records, but I never focused and penned it like this. And it's just different now. And I played it for different people, Snoop, KRS, Kane, you know, different artists, you know, that would tell me, yo, kid, nah, that ain't it. You know what I'm saying? But everybody I played it for, kid, this album is incredible.
Yep, you played it for us when I came to your house and drank your water. I just wanted to make sure I ate something at Kid Capri's house when I was over there so I could say I did it.
Scavenger.
I didn't go in his refrigerator like I do yours, Heather. I waited for the water.
but good now, last night, 12 o'clock, my Slap Key video dropped last night.
Okay.
And already I can see, well, the response for the record is incredible. I haven't gotten one bad complaint yet. Beautiful. And you know how the internet is. They'll just say something just to say it, just because. But I haven't gotten that yet, so it's a good thing.
We love you, Kid Capri. You're an icon.
Yes.
Big round of applause for Kid Capri.
Facts.
Man, come on. Thank you for what you did last night at the Verzuz. That was amazing. This will go down in history. This is the new song, Citizens, the new video, album coming soon. We'll be sitting down with Kid again. Thank you, brother. We love you, man.
Thanks, Sway. Love you too, man. Appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Salute, brother.
Up next, we got Jamie Foxx. He got a new book, Act Like You Got Some Sense. You want to talk with Jamie? 888-742-3345.